What is up, guys? Welcome back to another audio edition of the podcast. Thank you guys for being here on the channel because today we have something big to talk about. I have not made a podcast video in a while, so I welcome you guys back on the podcast because today we have a big topic. I have my notes here ready, I have my water ready, I have everything ready, as today we're going to be talking about Icarly because Icarly is coming back. They're getting a revival, but before we get into this, please hit that subscribe button, put on those notification bells if you want to be notified. This is a daily film talk channel, so if you love movie news, movie reviews, anything movie related, then I suggest you click that subscribe button with notification bells on. Comment down below what are your thoughts on all of this, smash that like button, and make sure to follow me on Instagram, Isaac the Film Geek, because over here it's all daily film talk. Every day I upload a daily film talk video, and most of the time I upload podcasts. Sometimes I just upload news, reviews, etc. But every day I promise you an upload that is movie related, movie shows, anything that is movie or TV, then it's right here on this channel. So please hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to be here with me. Now, today we're going to talk about something major, iCarly. I did not think I'd ever talk about iCarly on this channel because this channel is more movie centric than anything really, and we just got some news that iCarly will be coming back for Paramount Plus. Now this is made confirmed by Variety and Deadline, both of them very, 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 like, two of the most reliable sources out there, so it's nearly confirmed basically. And iCarly's coming back. They're coming back. And I have some weird mixed thoughts on all of this. So let me give y'all some context before I say what I'm about to say. I grew up with three channels as a child: Disney, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon. I always looked at it this way. Cartoon Network had the best cartoons, Disney had the best movies, and Nickelodeon had the best children's sitcoms. And one of those sitcoms on Nickelodeon was iCarly. When I was younger, I grew up with iCarly. I loved watching iCarly. I loved, just watching new episodes. And I remember the day it ended, I think it was 2012. I was so sad. I was disappointed. I remember that week leading up to that episode, I was very devastated because I just didn't want it to end because it was a show that I really loved and enjoyed, and it's been there for a while. And, it was disappointing. I didn't even know it was the season, the final season. All I saw in the commercials was final episode, and it left off on a sad note. Eventually, then they did a spin-off called Sam and Cat, confirming that there's a Victorious and iCarly that's in the same universe, which is funny. And well, we already knew that because there was a crossover episode between both of them. And so I remember Sam and Cat. Even when I was younger, I didn't really love it. I was a bit annoyed of it. I know that both Sam and Cat are a very weird mixture of characters. They're both side characters who are very different. One of them being this tough, brutal kind of person, and then the other one is this soft, kind-hearted person. And Sam and Cat to me wasn't very good, even when I was younger. I'm someone who my whole life it's been hard to impress me, whether it's a cartoon, show, movie. I think that's even more now, and I think that's why I even have a film talk channel. But I love iCarly. iCarly was in my top 5 rankings of favorite shows when I was a child. Number 1 always being Drake and Josh. You know me. I love me some Drake and Josh. Even now, I love Drake and Josh. But what I'm about to say might sound surprising, but I don't think I'm going to like this new revival of iCarly. And the reason why I say this is because Nickelodeon in recent years has just fallen so low where everything is just boring and bland, and I don't like anything that Nickelodeon produces nowadays. Everything now feels like a market tool where they care more about commercials rather than the actual show or cartoon. And I've always said this, I think Nickelodeon, out of all the three that I just mentioned, are the ones that have fallen so low. Cartoon Network still to this day produces pretty good content. Disney till this day produces pretty good content. They have both companies still produce so much. And Disney right now, Disney Channel really isn't the priority, of course. That's just their side, so either way it doesn't matter to them. But Nickelodeon, I remember I had cable 4 years ago, and that's when it started dropping. To me, all the new things that they were putting out was boring, bland, stupid. Uh, that Alvin and the Chipmunks reboot was terrible. Then Bunsen is a Beast. I didn't like that cartoon. You know, they had a lot of new shows. I can't remember their names, but I even noticed the lows coming when I was in 7th grade. They were like doing Marvin, or that one with Jerry Trainer. I don't know what's it called, but they were posting like so many, different sitcoms and cartoons that I wasn't liking. And so eventually I told my parents, I think 2 years ago, hey, let's stop with cable, because I've noticed all they really cared about was Univision. So we took out cable and we put an antenna so they could still watch Univision. Me personally, I began just buying Netflix subscriptions and Disney Plus. Well, no, Disney Plus was like last year, because at the moment I was like, streaming services, they give me way more to offer. TVs, it's like they're like, okay, in this schedule we're gonna give you this show, but there's gonna be commercials in between. And that, to me, I didn't like that, because I didn't have that kind of schedule where all I could do is just wait till like 8 p.m. so that they could give me 30 minutes. What I decided is just go with the streaming service route, and that is, right now I have Disney Plus and I have HBO Max. I recently took away Hulu, and then recently I unsubscribed to Netflix. Why? Because I think, Netflix and Hulu aren't really providing me the content I want. And what I want is easy to access content where, like, for example, if at 7 p.m. I want to watch Boy Meets World, then I'll go on Disney Plus and watch me some Boy Meets World. If at 9 p.m. I want to watch, Euphoria, I will go on HBO Max and watch Euphoria. Why? Because, I don't want the TV to schedule what I watch. I remember a while ago, my PS4 wasn't working, and so I had to watch from the antenna, and I knew that Friends came out at 8 p.m. and at 9 p.m. Seinfeld came on. And so every day at 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. I'd like rush to home from work so I could watch those, and eventually I got sick of it, and so eventually I decided, go get my PS4 fixed. Got it fixed, and now I'm back to streaming services, because I don't want something to schedule for me when to watch something. Not only that, but I want to be able to access different content. So we just at my household, we took out the cable, and ever since then it's been great. It feels better. Its subscriptions are cheaper, although I do think within like 2 years that will be a complete lie. And the only real thing I would really watch in cable was sports, but I could find that easily on a PS4. That's where I watch all the sports games, because I keep up with the NBA, the MLS, the Champions League, everything really. And so that's really where Nickelodeon came. Nickelodeon was like that big strike where the content they were producing was just terrible. And I haven't had cable in like 2 years, so I can't really tell you if there's anything new from Nickelodeon nowadays. But I can say that from the most people that I asked them, hey, is there anything good? And they tell me the only real thing that Nickelodeon is promoting a lot more, it's what was it called? SpongeBob. I don't even know how I almost forgot that. Which SpongeBob is, for me, the greatest cartoon of all time. But I noticed that because I remember I went to a friend's house and they put on Nickelodeon, and all I saw was them promoting SpongeBob. They did have all these other shows, but it felt like the only thing they really had was SpongeBob. And it got to a point where I was like, wait, it's really the only thing that's making profit for Nickelodeon at the moment is SpongeBob. And I'm not going to lie, I understand it. SpongeBob, even now, it's still pretty good for kids. I will still say this, the first 3 seasons and the SpongeBob movie are gold. The rest is just other garbage. But, I can understand why children would love SpongeBob, especially since those children probably have parents who grew up on SpongeBob. But, yeah, Nickelodeon doesn't really have anything. I mean, they had the Loud House, but I'm not gonna lie, that first season of Loud House, it was good, but then the rest got annoying. And then they got this spin-off called La Casa Blanca, which was just a stereotype of Hispanics. Like, I'm not even lying. Like, you'll never see me getting offended at any kind of, racial kind of jokes. But when I saw La Casa Blanca, or like, no, did I see Casa? No, La Casa Grande, something like that. that was probably the most cringy thing ever. You could tell this was made by white people who shopped at La Frutilandia once and then thought, yeah, this is what Hispanics are like. And I never get offended over things like that. I do occasionally. Like, I remember when I watched Transformers 2, I got annoyed at how they just made stereotypes of black people in these two characters. And I don't like when people use stereotypes a lot in movies and shows because it kind of depicts something in a bad way. Unless it's a comedy movie, maybe. But if it's something like a children's show, I didn't like it. It was so cringy, and like it was like I didn't like La Casa Grande because it's just annoying. And so that's what worries me about the new iCarly revival. Miranda Cosgrove, she hasn't really done much after. Like, everyone expected her to have kind of like the Ariana Grande thing where after they'd get famous, they'd be these famous pop stars or something. But Miranda Cosgrove, I can only tell you she's only been in one thing, and that was in like one episode of The Goldbergs or something like that. And after that, I didn't see her at all. Jerry Trainer, the only thing I really saw him in was this one Alex Morgan movie where Alex Morgan's like the hallucination of a little girl who's playing soccer, and he's pretending to be like this British coach or something like that. And that's a Nickelodeon original, by the way. And then the rest, I can't I think Jeanette McCurdy, I think that's her name. I haven't seen her in anything. The actor for Gibby, he was on the Goldbergs too. I guess I like him a lot in that series. By the way, it's on Hulu for those who are wondering. So he's really the only actor I've kept up with after the iCarly. And then the actor for Freddy, the only thing I saw him was in, I think it was called Game Shakers in Nickelodeon, where he played the actor of Freddy, which was just himself, and they were asking him who he liked between them. So I guess what I noticed about that is that Game Shakers technically lives in the Nickelodeon world, which means, are they aware that they're a show themselves? Or I don't even know how they're making these things work. But yeah, it just worries me. Like, the cast nowadays, they don't really have many projects. And I know what you're going to say. Hollywood is tough and all that. And that's completely true. Hollywood is a very tough industry to get into. Whether you're a director, actor, producer, or whatever, that's a very, very, very difficult, industry that most people struggle with. But, these actors, they really haven't impressed me after iCarly. I mean, even, Miranda Cosgrove, she didn't impress me in that one episode of The Goldbergs. The actor for Gibby, he actually, I do like him. That's like the one actor that I enjoy after. Jerry Trainer, he was in this other sitcom after iCarly too. I remember it was this one with this other child where he was the uncle. I remember I cringed at that, even though I really loved this crazy Stephen, Drake, and Josh and Spencer on iCarly. But what really worries me, like I've said, is first of all, the cast, they haven't done much to persuade me that they can perform great again. And then the second thing is Nickelodeon right now is kind of like, they haven't produced anything to me. If you had told me that an iCarly revival was going to come out in 2015, then I would have told you yeah, because they still have pretty good content. They still have lots of great projects that they're working on. And so now in 2020, I'll tell you no, because like, if I was a producer and they asked me, would you like to bring back iCarly? I would say no, for the simple fact that two things that are going up against iCarly. Number one, the actors haven't done much in recent years. And not only that, but Nickelodeon itself hasn't done anything really in the last few years besides release another SpongeBob movie on Netflix. And then the second thing that's going against this show's revival is the fact that most of the audience has grown up. A lot of them don't care, really. Me, when I heard this iCarly revival, you'd expect me to be, oh yeah, iCarly this, iCarly that. I can't wait for this new iCarly reboot. But no, I'm just sitting here like, oh, okay. And a lot of the audience grew up. And then I think it's going to be difficult to catch the children's audience. And so that new younger audience, like, what are you going to have to do? Are you going to have to make it much more modern, which is what I would do? Like, that would be the approach. Like, I guess I would put iCarly as a YouTube channel now, something like that. Or, they have real iPhones instead of pairs phones or something like that. I'm someone who doesn't like, I can deal with nostalgic movies and shows. Like a lot of people, they'll tell me how much they loved let's say Zoe 101. Zoe 101 was very beloved. Me personally, as much as I liked it as a kid, the older I got, the more I was like, this was just a try hard drama. As much as I respect the approach of Dan Schneider, I will say this, that it, like, as the older I got, the more and more unintentionally funny I got. And the one thing you don't want to be is unintentionally funny. And one little thing that I wonder is Dan Schneider. Will he be back to direct this sitcom? I haven't read the entire article of Variety. And Dan Schneider, for those that don't know or aren't aware, recently it came out that, so this is just for me, I don't know if this is all factual, by the way, so don't take it to the bank, but it came out that he had pedophilic tendencies and he had a foot fetish. And I wondered, like, I remember just a year ago I saw that Dan Schneider was still working on Henry Danger or something like that. And to me, I'm wondering, is Dan Schneider's really going to come back? And I don't know. I should probably do a quick Google search right now to see if Dan Schneider is still in Hollywood or if the accusations were fake or something. But that's a little thing I wonder. But yeah, they're mostly doing this for the fact that Paramount Plus is coming, a new streaming service. I'm going to be for real, Paramount Plus hasn't really impressed me, like what I've heard that's going to be on it. So as of now, I'm more than likely not going to get Paramount Plus unless they have like this great new thing. And iCarly, since it had a massive fan base, they're more than likely going to use that to be like, hey kids, you want to see this new cool and hip iCarly episode? Well, come on down to Paramount Plus. Tell your parents to get your credit cards and tell them to get a monthly subscription so you guys can see iCarly season 1, whatever. Now, the ultimate question that I'm wondering is, will this be a success? My answer to that is yes. I do think this is going to end up being a success. As much as I don't want this to happen, because I don't want to leave like salt in the wounds for me. As much as I don't want it to come back, I can see this being very successful. Not as in good successful, but as in, you know, it gets good ratings, good reviews. Lots of kids love it, and now iCarly's popular again. And, you know, a lot of the nostalgic people, including myself, are probably going to look at it and think, oh, yay, they're all back together and it's all great. They're older, they're adults, and all that, whatever. And, you know, it's been since 2012, I think, since this series ended. And, like, I think that's what's going to happen. I think a lot of the people who are nostalgic, because right now, nowadays, especially my generation, gets easily nostalgic over everything. Like that's how Disney's banking right now, making these remakes of animated films like Mulan or Jungle Book. Although I did like Jungle Book, by the way. But Lion King, etc., etc. Aladdin too. And that's really what they're banking off. And I think Nickelodeon, as in a business sense, I think this is smart, because what they can do is promote Paramount Plus and tell all those nostalgic people and all those children, being like, hey people, you guys want to see Carly, Freddie, and Sam together with Spencer and Gibby again? Because that's probably what's going to happen. That's I think how it's going to work. I think lots of people are going to be willing to watch it, but I do think it's not going to be as good as the original. And, you know, even looking back, I remember a few years ago, or not a few years ago, like just probably recently, a year ago, I remember I rewatched iCarly, and like as much as I enjoyed it, I didn't love it as much as I did when I was a kid. Of course, that's mostly because it was made specifically more for kids. But the thing about iCarly is it wasn't just specifically for kids. It was also, hey, if you're an adult watching with your child, you're probably gonna like it too. I watched the old iCarly episodes. They're okay. I mean, they're not bad, but they're pretty good. They're all right. But for a revival, I don't know. The only real series that I watched when I was a child, or the real like teen sitcom that I watched as a child that I still really love till this day as much as I did when I was a child, is Drake and Josh. A lot of the shows like Wizards of Waverly Place, you know, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, Hannah Montana, and iCarly. And, you can also say Zoe 101. I don't really like them as much as I did when I was younger. Drake and Josh is still up there. Remember, I binged it when I was on Hulu. But, to me, I just hope for the best. I hope they provide us the best content possible. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm definitely wrong, because yesterday, for the first time, I got a ton of backlash on my Snapchat and Instagram. So I posted a post that put the news that the iCarly revival is happening, and I said I think this is stupid. And lots of people texted me being like, "No, this is a great sitcom, and you don't know it." A lot of them were just brain dead people who were like, "Oh, you're being stupid," and I wasn't saying that they shouldn't do it. I just said, "Hey, I think it's gonna be stupid." I did get this one specific text that did interest me more than the others, and that was from this one guy on Snapchat. I'm not going to reveal his name just because I didn't ask for permission, but he basically told me that the ending of iCarly did leave potential for future things, because remember, the ending was Carly leaves to Italy with her dad, and the rest of them stay in Seattle. And, Carly is just up in Italy. I'm going to assume that this series is going to take place. iCarly comes back from Italy, and she sees the gang back again. My question is, do they still see each other? Does Sam and Freddie still see each other? And what he said was very interesting. I was like, I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, that would be cool, like, to see them 8 years later. Like, did they keep in touch, like, by text? Because remember, this might be in the modern world where they have Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. They can easily access each other and be like, hey, look, I'm in Italy and all that. Or I don't know. I feel like something will happen between Freddie and either Sam or Carly, because remember, Freddie I think Freddie dated both. Correct me if I'm wrong. What a simp. But yeah, I think they're finally gonna answer that one question on who did he like more, Sam or Carly, which he's a massive player for that. No joking. But yeah, it really came to surprising news, because I did not expect that at all. There weren't rumors about it, but Variety and Deadline both confirmed it. So I'm gonna assume more than likely it is a real thing that's happening. Anyways, I'm gonna have to end off the podcast 20 minutes in, because I don't really have anything else to add on. So I want you guys to let me know down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on this happening? Do you think the iCarly revival is a great idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Me personally, I think it's I have my ups and downs, my pros and cons. I think this is going to be a good idea in a business sense, but story wise, I do think it's going to feel sloppy and messy, and it's just going to factor into nostalgia. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this podcast. It really means a lot. And I want to ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button, because I have more content like this on the channel. And click the notification bell on, because I upload daily film talk podcast, and not just podcasts only, but reviews, talks and everything else. So please hit that subscribe button. Like I said, only takes 1 second. It makes a big difference to the channel. So please, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.